today, otherwise they would have been here. So I would like to thank every one of these every of these volunteers and the people who made it today. And today we are going to have another wonderful session. This session I would like to just start with a simple story. It was in a film theater. There was an announcement while the tickets were purchased. An award-winning short film, which lasts just for 10 minutes, would be played before the real movie. Hearing this, everyone reached at their... Hello? Can I mute everyone, please? Also, can you mute everyone other than me? All right, thank you. So an award-winning short film, which is last for 10 minutes, would be played before the real film. That was an announcement. Hearing this, everyone reached at their allotted seats well in advance and eagerly waiting for that short film. What was there in their mind that having a two film in the price of for the price of one? That too, one is an award-winning short film. Everyone was thrilled. Just the way how we are waiting for our session today. And then wait was over. The film started by giving a few names on the screen of the people who associated with it. When the visuals were on, a ceiling was shown. What? Yes, just a ceiling was shown. Just a plain ceiling, nothing special about it, not at all appealing. Nothing is moving. Everything is static. The entire 1 minute was over. Second minute got over. Exactly the same scene. Third minute got over. The minutes went by at a snail's pace as it were dragging, since nothing was exciting on the screen. And the people who were watching, they started cursing. Who the hell this producer, director, who the hell given this award? What sort of film it is? Then it was about to hit the 10 minutes. The camera focus started rolling downwards, and on the screen, a hospital bed and a patient whose lower back had been severely injured was seen. This patient was unable to move even an inch. All he could do was inhaling and exhaling, nothing else. Soon the focus started rolling back to the previous ceiling, this time with a writing on the ceiling. The writing was this: most of you would have lost your temper, tolerance. You might have felt you wanted to leave this theater in just 10 minutes. Imagine a person who's been bedridden for a year or don't know when he's going to see the natural light. So, ladies and gentlemen, most of us are confined these days in our home and an office during this pandemic to battle against it. It's an opportunity for us. For doing nothing, we can be a barrier against this COVID. They call it this in a different name: lockdown, containment zone, quarantine, self-isolation. However, the flip side is we are free to move anywhere in our house. And as we discussed, the internet has been proliferated in such a way that the person who sits at Ohio, the person who sits at Aligarh in India, and the person who sits in Bahrain, they are all at an arm's length. So use the best of this time. Make the best use of it. You can read, you can learn something new, you can learn some new language, you can start training unprivileged or marginalized soul if you need. In this modern scenario, who is an illiterate? What is the definition of illiterate? He is not the one who doesn't know how to read and write. He is the one who doesn't unlearn, learn, and relearn. So this is what I want to urge you guys. With this, we would like to move on to our first speaker of the day. For this, I would like to invite our founder, Anil Thomas. Please.
Thank you, Niaz. Thank you. Very good evening, friends, well-wishers, book lovers, speakers, authors. Thank you so much, and happy Ramadan. Thanks for making this session possible. As always, we have two good speakers, two good books with you. Irtika, Kazi in Stormbound writes poetry on random subjects that connect one emotion to another. Simultaneously, some of her poems, which are in a manifestation of the unexpressed, include on. I have gone through her profile and all the digital roots. Survival Memorial Ramadan, The Quina Starts With My Mother's Pride, and many others. The collection of more than 30 poems shows the different times and junctures The poet may have had thoughts to write on variety of subjects and how she gives words to them. They also suggest objectivity in her manner of writing and how she tries to remain detached from the spectacle that she creates for the readers. But even though she tries, the personal element does come in as the poems are more or less based on her personal experience. Welcome to e-Bookery, Irtika.
Thank you so much, Anil, for having me here. I'm extremely glad. I'm really happy to be a part of this program. So shall I begin? I'll just quickly
Sure,
introduce.
please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Irtika Kazi, and I'm a poet and a German linguist. Um, I consider myself lucky enough to get my debut poetry collection published in the midst of this raging pandemic. And well, there's a light at the end of every dark and dingy tunnel, and poetry is something that makes me believe in this notion with even with more intensity. And so my poetry collection is titled Stormbound, and it's published by Clever Fox Publishing. It's a Chennai based publisher. Yeah, this is how it looks. um, Dustin Pickering, who is the founder of Transcendent Zero Press and the author of Salt and Sorrow, has generously written the blurb for my book, which is as follows. I'll just read quickly. It's a very short blurb. Yeah. So the only thing with about talking about your own book is like it should not feel if sound very boastful of oneself, but yeah, just read it. Irtika Kazi navigates from space to space luminously, moving as a poetic sea with its breaking waves and foam at the
I'm sorry. I'm
tips.
sorry. Can you show the cover properly?
Yeah, here it
Yeah,
is.
that's there. There you go.
Yeah. um, Her subject is love sublimated in historical and religious images. In these poems, we may expect to understand something of the nature of being. Kazi's poems celebrate life's grandeur and majesty while not shying from grief and loss. This was a short blurb by Dustin Pickering, who is himself a poet and an author. So, just to delve more deeply, into the book, it houses 32 poems that I wrote in a span of 2 years, and like 32 poems in 2 years is definitely not a very impressive number, but I guess that would give a very slight idea, of how languid I am as a writer. Um, my love for research and quest, and my desire to discover self is what inspired me to write this book. It has inspired my work. So each poem is, it is breaking open a host of questions, whether those questions are interpersonal, as they concern daughterhood, womanhood, or external, as I traverse, landscapes through my various travels to Europe. I mean, outside India, to experience different cultures. They each host questions and narratives, which is trying to find its own way, which is on its path of discovery, right? So, in continuation to this, I would like to read a poem from the book, which is titled War, which talks about this conflict a woman faces with destruction. So, I'll quickly read War. Um, Walking down the promenades of my girlhood, a war-torn republic, I reconnoiter and examine ways to hammer nails back into scotched parapets, broken jaws, severed heads, shame-faced cobwebs, moth-eaten breads. All that needs to be cleansed. Someone needs to wash away streets that once flattered my vanity, now pocked with doubt. Parklands that only felt the touch of falling petals now refuse to be touched. the sinews of my nation burning. So yeah, this was a poem about conflict in a woman's heart. In my poems, I wanted to honor this narrative of home, and how important it is for any person to be able to find a home. And so like I said, I wanted to honor the narrative of home, and by being as specific as possible with how I named or discovered streets and places. And I also wanted to step back and ask myself, would my home be proud of all this narrative that I'm writing on it? So um so here is the poem, which is titled again On Loss and Homecoming, which tries to portray the thoughts of people who stay away from home, who have lost this emotional arc of staying connected with their loved ones, yet contain the notion of homecoming, very, very vividly in their memories. So I'm going to read On Loss and Homecoming. Minarets of a lone mosque scream azan. Belgian glass windows rumble with the sound of leather on loose sand. Father has come. The breeze play peekaboo with charpoys and chandeliers. Someone needs to answer the call for prayer. Father is come. My children lost in the Bohravats. Their voices sharper than God's. The last time I waved at them, they stood in the leaf-fringed charoka where my wife dried chilies for pickle. She hasn't grown old like the house and still smells of wooden antiques and fine linen. Their prim faces etched at the back of my portemonnaie. We said our goodbyes. So many of these pieces or poems explore concerns about the world we live in, our connections to nature, each other and ourselves. So it all kind of came together seamlessly when it came to the overall ideas I wanted to get across. And I will now read my poem titled Pseudo Love, which best captures this essence of me in itself. So Pseudo Love, just a moment. Yeah. A month after you decided I was not enough docile for your insinuation, I was a doggerel in your hand. How mellow is the heart of a woman waiting for love to take charge. All of it made sense. Signs of a facade, you passing the chalice to parched lips, and me in sheer silks macabre. All of it rolls down my cheek as if it never was. Darling, you're priceless, was your jingle. All you but ever thought I was, a twofer. So more to that, I've always loved experimenting, be it with the food I cook, the people I come across or try to communicate with, or the way my poems are written. So I totally believe in amalgamating languages in my poems. I am a German speaker as well, and I have inculcated a few German words along with a little mix of Hindi and Marathi can also be experienced in the poems. So the book hinges very heavily on experiments with different landscapes and nostalgia. And the poems in this collection are interwoven with diverse themes ranging from emotions to social concerns and slivers of mythology as well. So let me read out a few poems from Stormbound. And as you might have just observed, my poems are really very short. I love writing concise poems, so they are not very prosaic in nature. So let me just read a few poems, and then with that I will come to the to the end of my reading. So I'll read 4 teacups. Now, just a slight note, there's a German word here in the poem, which is Mittag, which means afternoon. Okay, just to remember that while I read. So, 4 teacups lay unattended since Mittag on the black bedraggled table in the canteen. You and I drinking each other in slow, dainty sips. Each teacup is empty and ready to be refilled, but you don't. Instead, you play with it. Your fingers hold them with dexterity, unforgiving, entangling, timorously masking the quarks and leptons of emotions camouflaged within the empty teacup. You endeavor to drown me. Your eyes carry Lake Guatavita, and I, a trifling wanderer, questing El Dorado. The afternoon passes by, Ophelia, drowning. You don't finish your tea still until I drown with each sip in Lake Guatavita. Is it okay if I read 2 more poems, or I mean, are we running short of time?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, if there's any thing to say about the poems, I mean, I'm all ears. So you can please say about it. Next poem I'm going to read is On Survival, which is a poem set in Kejarli, Rajasthan, in 1731, and it talks about the famous Chipko movement, the first one that happened in Rajasthan. Opium, Kejri trees, thatched huts, a dreadful howl thrums in the meandering byways of Kejarli. Axes, barks of trees, knives butchering a dark chocolate cake with ganache frosting. No tree was demolished. You see them wearing dismembered corpses, blossoming skulls, burgeoning roots, fruits of thar. A painting that only saw twilight. Only thing that remains now is an iridescent cenotaph. So since we are nearing the end of Ramzan, I would like to read my poem on Ramzan as well. The slender crescent of the moon ticks the beginning of date nights, mainly ajwa or anbara, huge clusters that grow on date palms unfurl like pinions of angel wings buckled underneath the fronds. Can we overfeed hunger by just that? Our mouths garbagey, ravening back and forth to eat of Medina's soil, caves that miraculously branch out of Jabal al-Nur as images bolted in that holy place for us to remember. Barren eyes that swallow the Arabian and never belch. We sit at the dastarkhwan, our platters filled with nothing but malaise, unperturbed. And here comes the last poem for the session, Funeral Hour. Oh, that's a scary title, actually, to be the last one again. Funeral Hour. How does it feel to have a dream fractured by moonlight luster? Like a screaming train on fire. Sorry, I could not be at your funeral, Oettingen am Goy. No train callers could I see. Perhaps they do not reside at the station, where the clock only strikes 12. Ante or post meridium, no one knows. Perhaps dreams see no time, like I could not see you. Just smell grief emerging from burnt blackberries, mushrooms, surrounding your periphery. A train emerged after a 4-hour-long wait. A troubadour whistling in the wind. A troubadour whistling in the wind. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Irtika. In fact, we are all savoring it, and it was truly fantastic. You could give us a picture of you as a writer. The fear
Mhm.
elements and encouragement elements were clearly noticeable in it, and the time spent that you in a different platform, and then the series of events which was in harmony with art and writing, everything was
Yeah.
fantastic. uh, I guess what I really appreciate your artistic mind to use the precise words that are given to to get the best feel out of the each platform. That was also really commendable. So I would like to welcome our Geeta ma'am to comment on what was her experience. You can unmute yourself.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
talking. Yeah. Uh, Ritika, you are Ritika, no? Yeah.
Irtika.
Yeah.
Irtika, yeah.
Ritika, yeah. Your imagery is fantastic, and the way you have interrelated the imagery with your thoughts, and also you have related what is going on, certain turbulent events
Right.
going on, and that also has a great impact on your mind and your thoughts and everything. I really enjoyed your poetry very
Thank you
much,
so
very
much. Thank
much.
you.
Yeah. I think you haven't used much of metaphors you haven't used, I think, metaphors
Um,
you have.
Metaphor is, existing in every poem. Like
Uh,
metaphor is
I know that.
the
Yeah.
indirect comparison, right?
Imagery,
To
yeah,
what you
yeah,
want to
yeah.
express.
Imagery, but you have used quite a good imagery, lot
Huh?
comparison, and I was quite enjoying it.
True,
Very
true.
Thank you
good.
so
Thank you.
The
much.
Thank you.
last
It's very
one, the
good.
last one, on
Mm-hmm.
Ramzan, on your
Yeah.
Ramzan, you have done it very well. It's very, very,
Thank
and the
you.
way the slender, I really love that. Can you just again just describe that word for the moon you have used?
The
Slender,
slender, the slender crescent of the moon.
slender crescent, that color,
Yeah.
slender crescent moon.
Right.
That's lovely, beautiful phrase you have used for that.
Thank
I should
you.
appreciate. Thank you so much. Very
Thank
nice.
you for the appreciation.
God
It means
bless you.
a lot.
God bless
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
God
Thank you very
bless you.
much, Kita ma'am. See, Irtika, how do you find? See, do you think the internet and the social media contribute to, the well-being of a poetry?
Well-being of poetry. I
Yes,
think. In this pandemic, the poetry community is thriving on internet.
correct. True.
When there are no meetups happening, the physical meetups, I think internet is the only solace for writers. I mean, for everyone actually.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, is there anyone who wants to ask any question or anything to comment on? Is there anyone, or do we need to go for a Rena directly?
Hi, Nias. I'll ask a query.
Yes, Ankit, please.
Wonderful listening to you. The tear that I mean, probably you just said it. It rolled down and stopped at the cheek. Probably you wanted to talk about the tear. So wonderful. I mean, you've tried to put up so many things in probably 10 sentences or something like that. So
With
really appreciate that.
That actually gets a little bit, tedious for me as a poet because I love writing short poems, very concise. I don't like writing, long prose-like poems. So I think it gets a little bit tedious, but I totally love the journey of
So
writing it short.
yeah, one has to really put himself or herself in your shoes or in that mindset to really get to that situation. So
Right.
it's nice. It's really a good job done. And you already answered my question. How do you really make that? I mean, how do you put a story into probably a half a page or 10 lines? How do you really do that? What's your thought process?
Okay. I mean,
And how do you also add so many beautiful English words to it, to have more value?
yes.
Thanks.
Okay, so actually these stories are very personal. I mean, I have like I have derived all the stories behind these poems from a very personal space. And I think that makes it more relatable to some extent to people. I mean, of course not completely, because you will have to actually be in my shoes to know what I've gone through. But so words are the only medium with which I can portray my feelings or what I've gone through or my stories better to readers. And so I am definitely very very cranky, or you could say very choosy when it comes to selecting words for my poems. And I've always been an avid reader, so I think that's something a writer has to continue doing. Reading is like fodder. um, and yeah, I think by reading I have gathered this vocab, you could say.
All right, Irtika. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Ankit for the question and Irtika for the
Thank
answer.
you.
Or I would like to put another question here. Either Irtika or somebody who's on the floor can answer this thing. Since we are in a space where the poetry has been discussed, is there something common in a well-written poetry, or is there something common in a poorly written poetry? The elements that you can see in common, because we are flooded with the many the poetries these days, especially on our social medias.
Niyaz, can I answer that? This is
Please.
Sapna here.
Yeah.
Each poetry, I would like to tell Irtika that I enjoyed everything that you have read out, and I'm also a poet, and I can definitely relate to whatever that you say. Whether and Niyaz, to the question that you asked, whether it is a good poem or a bad poem, it's always the feelings that is there in the poet's mind that comes out as words. And the feelings that whatever that they go through, whatever that it is sad, good, or even at times you can even write about your a vengeance towards a person also can be come out with in words. So good or bad does not apply to any poetry. It is the feelings of that poet, the person's, that comes out in the words through a poem, and it always stays with that person. And
yeah, I
that's what
think good or bad is only a perspective.
Yeah,
I mean, you cannot
exactly.
define a poem if it's good or bad. I mean, of course, there are many grammar Nazis and people who try to just sketch a definition for it. But I think it's all about perspectives. So
That's
Great,
what.
great. Irtika, being a poet, how do you describe this time, this testing time?
oh, okay. I mean, there's actually, I cannot describe it because I haven't written a single poem in a year. These poems have written in 2 years. I mean, I'm
Then it
actually a
is
very
open to
lazy
the
poet,
open to
so
the
I've not
floor.
written anything. And this world is, I mean, it's testing everyone's patience. I mean, there's actually patience is the only mantra, because you can't, I mean, do anything else. We are all kind of become, crippled at the moment.
True. Wonderful, wonderful. Is there anyone who would like to attempt on it? Like, how do you describe this testing time?
I would little disagree with the last words. It's not really crippling. I would say yes, you are constrained, but then it has given you probably time to think over your own self,
But how much?
connect.
1 year is too much. Too much time
Uh,
to think about.
connect to the yourself, connect to the people around you, give time to the ones who need, rather than running around this whole mainstream race which has been there, and being realizing what minimalistic living actually means. So yeah, probably it's a perspective, but again,
It's
it's a
perspective
different
again.
side. It's a different side to it. Some may enjoy, some may really feel too much out of it.
That's correct. Yeah.
That I can describe about Ritika's poetry is that it's a small piece of beautiful art. Now you have a
Thank
big
you.
canvas in the house, which is not so good, but you have a very small picture, which is so beautifully sketched, and all the coloring is done in a beautiful manner, and it's abstract also. and it has full of metaphors, imagery, and condensed with a beautiful literary words. The vocabulary that she has used is fantastic. I think she has used very condensed and very saturated kind of the words, beautifully described in one piece.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you, Gita ma'am. The
Thank you.
question,
Thank you. Thank
the
you so
questions,
much.
the question once again surfaced over here. Do the internet and social media contribute to the well-being of poetry? Which I asked Irtika, the beginning of the question and answer session.
Right.
I believe yes, but there are many people who are disagreeing to it. I guess this is something
Okay.
that we need to have a discussion in a very length and in very detail. Did anyone try speaking?
No.
All right, great. Okay, so it's a time for us to move on to the next speaker. Before that, I would like to take someone as well, in case if anyone would like to comment on this as Ashwini's question. Do the internet and social media contribute to the well-being of a poetry? Anyone is there to attempt on it?
I just saw a comment right now. I don't know. It's from if not for this time, e-Bookery might not. Definitely. So this is how it's also impacting our usage of social media and internet, right, for poetry
True.
and literature in general.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yes, I would like to say you that even, I also in this pandemic, since I've been staying in US, so what I got was there was nothing that I could do. Then I just had beautiful pictures, and then I started writing poetry, small poetries, on Facebook itself, So it's a good thing, that you are expressing your ideas, your thoughts through poetries, whatever you go through. It's the best way of expressing your ideas. I think it's good. I feel it that one should do it. It gives you enjoyment, full enjoyment, and keeps
I
you
think
very
one more
lively. That's
reason
the way.
why internet is still in rage is because it gives us the freedom of expression. I mean,
Yeah.
artistic
Yes.
expression,
And
and
the
I
main
think
thing
everyone
is that
wants
it
to
is
be heard.
unedited.
Yes, it's
One thing-
unedited.
One thing is that whether we get appreciation or we don't get the appreciation, I at least don't bother about it. I just feel that I have satisfied my instincts and I have expressed
Right.
myself fully.
And why not?
On the
Because
floor.
everyone wants to be heard. So
Yeah.
it's fair.
So,
It's very
so
fair.
let my thoughts reach each and every of my friends that what I'm thinking about and how I'm enjoying my life. That's all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anyhow, the discussion is going as if it is not gonna end anywhere. So it's a time for us to welcome our second speaker of the day. Someone is
Just a small thing. Just
Yeah,
before I leave, I'm sorry, I won't be able to continue because I have to rush right now for iftari. I mean, it's over, but still I have to go now. And thank you so much once again. It was a lovely session. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to try
It's
attending also
absolutely
the
our
next
honor and our
upcoming
privilege to have
sessions.
you over here, Irtika, and we would like to
Thank
see you
you.
again on this screen. Please do
Definitely.
come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
A big round of applause to Irtika.
Thanks.
So she's
Thank
gonna
you.
leave her
Thank
because
you
it's
so much.
Ramadan. I mean, she is fasting. So this is a sacred month. We got the beautiful and wonderful speakers and wonderful and beautiful books. Yes, someone is waiting over there by standing, by holding her book, to her heart. Yes, it's a time for us to, invite the second speaker of the day. I would like to call upon Anil Thomas once again here.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much, and thank you, Irtika. And let me invite my second speaker for the day, award-winning author, thought leader, mentor, entrepreneur,
Yes.
a rap, for sharing such a
Hello.
powerful story of being able to overcome such adverse circumstances instead of allowing these situations to drag you down. You rose above and grew stronger through them. Steel toes to stiletto. Rap, please welcome on to.
Hello. How wonderful
Hello.
everyone
Hello.
is.
Yeah.
Hi. So just
Hi.
a little backstory. I am just a girl from Cleveland, Ohio, and I was infatuated with the internet. When the internet came, I was just so intrigued with it. When computers came, I was so intrigued. Like I knew it was the future. And I'm just so excited. I know that we are all, going through this time where we have time to focus on ourselves, focus on our faith. I think it's testing our faith. And we also need to talk about, for some people, they are kind of stuck in their own mental prison. And sometimes it's better to maybe focus on maybe another story, someone else's story, and put your feet in someone else's shoes. So I absolutely love the first story that he had told in the beginning, where the person was in the hospital bed and they were crippled. My story is a very powerful one, but the reason that it came about is because I was turning a pain into a passion, into a purpose. So what had happened was my mother had committed suicide, and the grief was very overwhelming. And it took me a while to get through it, but I just knew, wow, this is so hard that there has to be something really big, better on the other side. And so my book is really, it's about empowerment. And yes, of course, we are going to go through times and we're going to go through challenges, but it is for us to grow through those. I always say that even our greatest tragedy is still setting us up for our greatest victory. And so that is from Steel Toes to Stilettos. Can a woman compete in a man's world and win? So a woman, sometimes we go into career fields that are more male dominated. So I wanted to tell the story of how different a workplace could be for a woman, that could be the same workplace for a man, but how different the two stories are. Because I am a third generation Ford Motor Company, UAW, United Auto Worker, for 22 years. And my father had retired. My uncles have retired from Ford, and they all were just like, suck it up, buttercup. But I was the first woman of the family to walk in the doors of Ford Motor Company. And when I walked into the doors as a young 20-year-old girl, I was in the steel mills, but instead of making steel, we made iron, and there was fire. And the Plain Dealer, which is a newspaper, a local newspaper, even called our plant Hell's Personal Bakery, because it really was like hell. So just to kind of tell you more about how, stories that are going to kind of empower you, that's what's in this book. But aside from that, I have put in very, very important quotes. No matter what, your beauty may fade. Pandemics may come. Money comes and goes. But what you build in your brain, they can never take from you. You build your brain, and it is a powerful machine. When you can maneuver, you can go into any room.
Fantastic.
Right? And so I want to share with you, it's really amazing. And the whole other thing I wanted to share too was, they say that every author is touched by a divine author. So the divine comes through. I wrote this book. It took me 2.5 years to write this book. I finished it at the end of 2018. We published in 2019. I could not believe that by 2020 and now 2021, my book is for these times. There are quotes that I used in 2019 that I thought, this book is going to be, it's going to be historic later. It's not going to be, it's going to take time, maybe 20 years from now, but they'll never, once you publish a book, it's forever. Your ISBN number is forever. And so let me read one of because we are going through a lot of different, we're going through a time where big pharma and doctors are controlling a lot of the narrative. And in America, big pharma and the healthcare system is really a sick care system. They only get paid if you're sick. So there's a lot of mistrust. Doctors kill more people than guns, and a lot of people don't know that. So when you look at different things of the different systems that are, let's just say people that are in a depressed state right now, and let's say they might go to like a mental ward or a mental hospital, and it's really more like a mental prison, and what goes on behind those doors, and how more women are actually susceptible to those different prisons, because from the beginning of time, women were they were classified as female hysteria. And so we have to get past all of that. We have to change the whole system. And we do that through knowledge and through standing up and rising together through unity. There is power in numbers. And the more that we talk together, we're not isolated. I may be in my house in Cleveland, Ohio, but I am in Dubai. I am in Turkey. I am in places that only my heart could have dreamt as a little girl. And so I want to read this one quote, and I actually had put in there Doctor Who. Now, if you know about Doctor Who, it was a fictional doctor. It's a television show. And it says, "The poetic justice is, I later found out about Doctor Who. Doctor Who is a British science fiction television character whose shows have been produced since 1963. Despite his plethora of victories, the Doctor does not like to use guns and violence. Instead of blasting his enemies with heat vision like Superman, or taking them down with hand-to-hand combat, the Doctor uses other weapons like talking, cleverness, and in this case, books. Hint, you are the weapon." And the quote by the Doctor that I quoted from Steel Toes to Stilettos is, "You want weapons? We're in a library. Books. Best weapons in the world. This room is the greatest arsenal we could have. Arm yourself." And so when you arm yourself with your brain and with your power, that's how you make a change, right? We can only do so much with force, right? And then I also ended the book with another powerful quote. "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not in just some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that is from Marianne Williamson, A Return to Love, Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles. And I also wanted to read I quoted a song, and this is more in depths of what it felt like being at Ford Motor Company and working and being a machine and just building engines or making parts or, driving a forklift, all of those things, but yet you still want to be a girl. That's the reason. So what had happened was the most beautiful thing about it was when I worked in the casting plant pouring iron, and that was our different plant, it made me know. At first I was like, oh my gosh, why am I in this hell? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like a flower in the middle of a concrete jungle. But really, it was to show me that I could do anything. if I put my mind to it. And so it gave me this power and the strength. So in 2009, I started an internet e-commerce business because I know that it's the future. E-commerce, online shopping is not going away. It's only getting bigger and bigger. So my book not only is for inspiration, it's also like an apprenticeship to get you started to think more entrepreneurially so that you can take control of your life and rise up and make the life that you want, that you don't need a vacation from, that when you're sitting in your home, you're not in a mental prison. You are at peace. You are at still, and the stillness is okay with you. And so the song is from Christina Perry, and it's called Human. And it says, I can fake a smile. I can force a laugh. I can dance and play the part. I can do it. But I'm only human. And I bleed when I fall down. And I crash and I break down. Your words in my head, nice in my heart. You build me up. And then I fall apart because I'm only human. Yeah, I'm a good machine. I can hold the weight of the world. So I want you to know, whatever comes your way, it's not to destroy you. It is to empower you. You just have to ingenuitively figure out what this lesson or what this time is trying to bring to you. What seed of success is being carried in every opportunity or challenge or difficulty, because you may be in a difficulty today, but you may know that literally maybe 3 years from now, the difficulty that you're in today prepared you for that moment. And not only that, maybe even there's someone that you can tell how you got past that difficulty and you can help someone else. So when you're in a difficult situation, you think about how this is going to be used for the greater good, because I don't know who your God is, right? But whoever is up there, right? He is looking down on you, and he wants you to know that you are powerful beyond measure and you are loved beyond your imagination. Thank you.
So good. So good. So good.
Thank you.
Really so good. So,
Renale,
I mean,
Renale.
giving
That was
a
wonderful.
very strong message of strength and giving liberation as a woman, making you more powerful. I mean, feeling yourself like a god and feeling that there is a God within yourself. And after everything has been done by you with the full power, that you look upon who has done it. It's all
Yes.
God who has done it. That you
Yes.
give all the credit and the gratitude towards the God. So good. I was really admiring your thoughts really so well.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's a powerful book for women. It's a powerful book for men.
For everyone. For everyone.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful, Renee.
Wonderful.
Powerful story of being a
That was
rebel
wonderful,
overcomer.
passionate story.
I think it must be inspiring. Whoever will read, he will be inspired and will get a lot of strength, and he will revive himself within himself and energy to work. And then it's nothing. He will not get bored, and he will think that well, we should do something. We have got the strength to do. We have the power to do, and we can do whatever we can. Recollect the power within our own self and do miracles. Miraculous.
Yes, I'm glad that you brought that up, because guess what? I ended the book with the definition of miracle so that my reader would know that they are still your mother's miracle.
So good.
Which is also setting up for book number 2. I'm going to be publishing another book called You Are the Miracle by the Authorities. Yes.
You are amazing. I'm so impressed by your story.
Thank you. Thank you. It's on Amazon.
Adversity
Okay, we can get it on Amazon.
Yes, it is on Amazon.
Okay, okay.
We'll definitely read your book.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to reading.
Thomas sir, Neha sir, can I read one of my short poetry just like that?
Sure.
Can I just read
Sure,
a
sure.
short poetry? It's actually what I had experienced when I was there on the Pacific. I think she knows it. There is a 70.
Uh, Kida ma'am, just unmute
Kira
yourself
ma'am,
and
can you
start speaking.
unmute, please?
So,
Yeah. Okay. I don't crave for any medals. No crave I have for applause. No diamond, platinum to bind round my neck or fingers shine. I don't dwell to rat race world. Phenomenal, so grounded, old. I enjoy my freedom like the wind that's so wild and clattering me, just wandering free on ocean. Let the huge tidal wave come, sway me across its pebble beach. There's a pebble beach there on 17 Miles Drive. I want to float. Yes, I want to afloat with a sweet breeze. Break hillock my chains. I want to fly with white, loose clouds below sky. Oh, wind, you lift me up to the tallest pine tree growing on that hilltop. Let me enjoy my freedom for some time in the bottom. Visit colorful townships of fishes, snails, coral, hillock, buried palaces. Only, oh, you Pacific can show me, fulfilling all my breathing wishes. Whatever the world says, I don't care. My happiness lies playing on your bed. This is all about, the poetry that I have written that I'm enjoying on the tidal waves. And I want a great freedom. I don't want to get stuck in the house, inside the house, and let the tidal wave, let me just surrender myself to the nature, to the Pacific Ocean, which I find as the most powerful, and let it sway me across anywhere it leads me. Because it's full of freedom, it's full of power, it's the thing that can take you anywhere it likes. That's what I have imagined myself, I think.
Hi, Ra. Yeah, there's a question actually from Ankit. What is your definition for faith? Yeah, it's a good question.
Oh, that's very personal, but, for each person. But to me, it's that knowingness that you have to have, that there is something bigger and greater than you, right? So during the pandemic, I had pulled out my Bible and did a Facebook Live, and I was literally just reading that my help comes from the creator of heaven and earth, whoever created heaven and earth. And so I really felt that the time of the pandemic, at first, my cousin even had said, it's like God's having us all go back to our rooms like children. And if you remember, Mother Teresa, I think it was Mother Teresa, her famous quote was, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. See, only love can change this world. And when we look at everything on love, there's another great book that you would love to read if you're into books. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. And there's scroll number 3, I think it is. And he literally says, I will look at all things with love. I will love the cold for it. I forget what the cold does, but I'll love the rain for it cleanses my spirit. I'll love the sun for it warms my bones. So whatever comes to you, love it all.
Hey, thanks. I've read that
Very
book.
good.
Awesome.
Very
Esther, I can
good.
see a fire in your eyes. Okay, you got one question? Or?
Thank you.
Thank
Was there
you.
another question?
Thank you,
No,
Renee, for the wonderful.
I'm asking Esther.
Oh, me? Yeah, I
Go
have been
ahead.
trying to see how I can read the name of the book.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
from
Is it
steel to
Steel Toes, Stilettos?
Stilettos.
it's from steel toes to stilettos. Give a girl the right pair of shoes and she can conquer the world.
Oh, whoa. Okay. Now that's my book to read.
And here's the reason why. As a woman, I can put on steel toes. I can be a good machine. I can go and work with the men. But on Saturday night, I'm on stilettos and they can't walk a mile in my shoes. There are things that men uniquely have a different strength, but women, we have to kind of be both. And it's sometimes we strive to get more to our femininity, right? We don't want to be deprived of our femininity, but yet in certain situations, we have to be more masculine. So I always, like I told my father, I go, I can wear steel toes, but you can't wear my stilettos.
The wonderful story. Really, that's what you want. Because I'm in the field of the women, and the women thing. So whenever I hear a story about a woman, how she conquered the situation she find herself, I become so attractive to that person. Because in that aspect, we want to know more. That's the best way we can get to learn. My belief is women shouldn't drag a position with a man because they feel they are stronger than men. I feel women are made uniquely. So you are perfect as a woman. And if you drag a position, it's not because that man is incapable. No, it's because you know you can actually take care of that position. So I try to see how we can put women to know the best of them so that they can actually perform as the best as a woman. So that wonderful, wonderful story from you. And I hope to read your book also.
Thank you.
Thank
And
Ronnie,
I've had, and just so everyone knows too, and for our people on YouTube that are going to be watching later, I've had men tell me, and these are men that have been in war, and he literally, the one man said, because he's an ex-US military veteran, he literally said, chapters 9 and 10, I wasn't just like crying. He said, I was praying out loud. And you know what? That is powerful. And then I've had another man, he said, I keep it next to my bed. Sometimes if I'm having a bad day, I'll just pull it out. And so this is like a piece of me sitting next to you, no matter where you go.
Oh, very powerful.
Thank you.
Very powerful.
Yeah, Ronnie, please go ahead. I think she's got a question.
Yeah.
Who's got a question?
Rolly Jane.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by your journey and your courage and your confidence, and I'll surely read your book. I just wanted to share that definitely adversity brings strength. A few years back, my son got pancreatitis, which is a life-threatening disease, and there is no cure in allopath. There is only control. So I was very upset, and I started looking for alternative therapies, where I came across work done by Dr. Imoto. He's a Japanese scientist, and he has done a lot of work on water. And I started doing and experimenting, and I got wonderful results, which I wanted to share with the world. So right now I've started giving online workshops on healing qualities of water, just so that water, which is so important for us, we should be grateful towards it, and how we can use it for our benefit to heal our body and to heal our life. So when my son was ill, I was asking, why me? Now I get it was a blessing in disguise, because now I'm on a mission to spread this awareness how water can heal you. So yeah.
Wow.
Very nice.
Wow.
Very
You
nice.
are
Wow.
supposed to be here, because let me tell you why.
Yes.
When my mother committed suicide, I was so like, oh my God, it's suicide is a different kind of grief. It's very hard. It's
I
a
understand.
different mental, because you're like, what? Oh my gosh, I did this. What? Well, I should have done more, right? All of this.
Right.
It's a totally different grieving process. When I 1 month later, I started to go to float therapy. Float therapy is a sensory deprivation tank filled with water. It's like a pod. They have pods too. And they fill it with water and 800 pounds of Epsom salt. And you get in it for an hour or two and you float. And there's no light, no sound, you float. It is the closest thing a human can be, closest to feeling back in the womb. It feels like you're a child in the womb. Within one session, it helped clear some of that grief off of me. I was calmer. There is power in water. I used to always be like, I'm a summer girl. Summer is my favorite season. And actually, because Ra, my name Ra, it's Ra-Ne. Ra was the sun god in Phoenician mythology. And so they worship the sun. And water, I always, like as a child, I was always in the pool and I took swimming lessons. And I felt like, I love being in the pool. And I'm telling you, float therapy, it really helped me a lot. And I would
So
suggest it
see,
to
this is
anyone.
a miracle happening right now. We are getting connected. Let me connect more with you and we can work on this a lot. Because every day in the morning, I thank God for connecting me to right people and right opportunities so that I can add more to my knowledge and add more impact to my workshops and like learn more about water. So this is a new thing you told me right now about the flow therapy.
It's in my
which
book.
I will definitely add in my workshop. So this is a miracle happening right now. I don't know how many people I'll be able to impact, how many people will get influenced by this and add value to their lives by just being grateful towards water and meditating on water, because water has memory and it has the potential to store your thoughts. So whatever your thoughts and intentions you set in water and then bring it, that work accordingly in your body.
Yes, I mentioned the float therapy in my book because I thought it was so powerful.
Great.
Because
thank you
also
so much.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yes. And see, my mother was on psychotropic drugs from her doctor. Okay. My mother was on antidepressants and all these things that were prescribed by a doctor. And it is my belief, not even aside from my belief, but it is my belief that if she had not been on that, she wouldn't have been able to do what she did. The way that she carried it out was very, very kind of, it was different, very hard. But every single one of those drugs from a doctor, all of any kind of psych medications, every single one of them, the side effects are suicidal ideation or thoughts. And the pharmaceutical companies,
because I'm a psychological counselor too. What you can say, I can understand.
And the big pharma, they have full immunity, so you can't go after them. It's just sorry. Well, you shouldn't. You should have been stronger, or whatever it is. The pharmaceutical companies take no responsibility for these drugs that they are putting people on. So I started to look. So in 2014, I became certified as a nutraceutical rep to be able to work with doctors to create a natural protocol that does not have harmful side effects. And so so this is all, everything that happened to me, I used for, okay, how's this going to help me? My story is going to help someone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah, we need to connect. Yes, let's definitely connect. Okay,
I'm
so
really grateful to e-Bookery show that I could connect to you through this show. So I'm really grateful to Anil and Niaz and everybody else on the e-Bookery show. So
I am
good
so
work, good
grateful to be
job,
here
you know?
too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
ma'am, we are
Someone
also
had
so.
just said a question,
Okay, can we
and it said
one at a time
doctors or
over
faith?
here? And sir, can you please mute everyone? Then the person who got a question, he can speak over here. Anyhow, Rolly ma'am, thank you so much. Even we are also lucky enough to have an e-Bookery to meet you two here on this platform. Anyhow, Renee, wonderfully you done the powerful story of being able to overcome such an adverse circumstances. Instead of allowing these situations to drag you down, you rose above and you grew stronger through that problems. And since someone brought a water over here, I can say that one, you are more of like a water. What water does, that is so great. It's making its way through the cracks, adjust to the objects, go around through it, and put water into the cup. What will happen? It will take the shape of a, the cup. So water can flow, water can rush. That is what you are. You are truly a water. Anyhow, somebody got a question over here. Can you please raise your hand and then I can unmute the person. Would you please make me a co-host answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I asked Rane to unmute yourself. Somebody was raising a question,
Okay.
right, Rane? You were about to
Yes.
answer that question. Do you remember that question? Because I
Yes.
bumped out a couple of times because of the internet reception.
It just said doctors or faith. And so I wanted to talk about that too, because in this book, I talk about how there are some doctors that think that they're playing God, right? With some of these psychotropic, psychological prescriptions, they're muting or making people, even when they don't have, like when he started it off and he was talking about, the hospital bed, and the guy had a back injury and he was bedridden. A lot of people don't know that some people are being put into that kind of stillness through pharmaceuticals and through doctors who are playing God. Just even if you go to California, there is the Citizens Commission of Human Rights, and they have an entire museum, and it's called Psychiatry, the Industry of Death. And it talks about all the different things that have happened through psychology and what's been going on, and how it could possibly also be the reason why the United States is having so many school shootings, because we put all these children on these psychotropic drugs, because these doctors are playing God. And these doctors are not always led by God. They feel that they're above. And so they're not even taking into account faith. And they're not, they're in these hospitals and in these mental prisons. They're not telling them, hey, instead of taking this drug, you need to go to the gym. Here's a prescription to go to the gym, because I know you're angry because you've had injustices and these things are just not going on. So just go to the gym. You're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better. All these things you're going to clear it out. Or go to the lake. I always say, go to the lake. Whatever is bothering you, leave it there, right? Leave it in the water, like they said.
Yes, that's really wonderful. Yeah, as Ruli ma'am stated over there, water got a power to even store thoughts. So that's really amazing. Right. True.
Yeah, it does. I'm telling you, float therapy, even if you just look at the YouTube videos on it, it is amazing. The new pods, they have different lights and everything. And so the other thing that I wanted to also say is the most powerful thing about this time is that because of the internet, we're all connected, and we're connected at light speed. right? It's like beyond my imagination as a child, right? Like I'm going to be talking to someone in all over the world. We're going to all be on just a cell phone in the middle of, where I am. I couldn't even imagine, but I think that God wants us all to know that we are all connected. When you do certain things such as muscle testing, we did an experiment, me and my co-author, at one of his seminars. And the experiment was, we put one woman in the front of the room, and he told us all to think positive thoughts about her. And then we muscle tested her. I don't know if you know what muscle testing is, but it's, you put your arm out like this and you let somebody try and push it down, and they can determine if your strength is there or not. And a lot of people don't even know this too. And if you lie, you lose your strength. Okay. So the whole thing with muscle testing is really amazing, but nobody talks about it. And so you put your arm out, and then he told us all to think a negative thought. She lost her strength. We watched it with our own eyes. And so the powers that be, the people that are elite, the people that are the most successful, they know all of this. And the people out there don't. And so we have to communicate with each other and find our tribes that are all of us, right? Because it's going to take all of us. If we had one day, National Positive Thinking Day, and it was everybody in the whole world got to stay at home. It's just like Christmas. If you look at the Christmas season, there's peace on earth for that time. But then we all go back to our lives and all the stuff comes in. So the pandemic was for us to realize that if we had Christmas every single day, we can accomplish peace. We have the power to accomplish peace on earth and make our God proud of us. And that's my goal. That's what I think I want us to do. I know that we can do it. The power of humanity.
Amazing. That's amazing. And Renee, the title of the book, we really loved it. From steel toes to stilettos.
Yes.
You really made it, really attractive. And you explained it very well in the women, how to be strong and feminine at the same time. That is what the woman knows it very well. So fantastic. And you really thrived an industry which is completely dominated by the men, which is an auto industry. We have seen one of your pictures that you are with the Jack Canfield. So what was your experience with the Jack?
Yes. So my co-author is a top 10 New York Times bestselling co-author. Mm-hmm. And so Jack was at my book launch. Yeah. Right. And when he wrote my name, he was like, he's like, how did you get this name? Because he knows the story behind Ra.
Fantastic. So the whole presentation, it says that no matter your current situation, all you need is the dreams, and you need to have a process and believe in your process. Definitely you would reach your dreams.
It's like giving you a key to success, a key to unlock your dreams, a key for anything that you want is knowledge.
True. Do not be a prisoner of your past, rather be an architect of your future. Amazingly done, Renee. We really loved the way how you brought this completely up. And the book, it's a must-read book, as you said. Somebody kept the book next to the bed whenever they were down, just to keep them up, to pep them up. They used to read it. So it's a fantastic book. We all know that one that can be used for that. So definitely we would get the book on our hand. We'll start reading this book. Ashwini, I'm seeing you for the first time over here. Are you here for the first time?
Yes.
Yeah, Ashwini. How did you find this e-Bookery? The whole experience, how did you find?
Yes, there was link in Young Empowerment Talks, so I get into.
All right.
Then it's a very nice experience to share with. And Renee, is it, I'm pronounced it rightly? Yes.
Renee, yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I feel about your writing is that promoting women's sense of self-worth, isn't it?
Yes.
It's
Yes,
not only
and
the women, the entire, even the men as well.
yes, yes, right. And yes, it's a kind of promoting um, English e-Bookery show, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwini. We would like to see you over here on every
Thank you, Ashwini.
Saturdays. And I would like to have, okay, Sindhu, I guess she is having a trouble today. Shamala is there. Shamala, would you like to speak for a minute? All right, great.
Yes, I'm sorry I cannot come on the video.
Not a
But
problem.
yes, I enjoyed both of them, especially the one which Renee had taken, empowerment, woman empowerment, and of course, how you go about getting yourself from a depression, out of the depression, and how you pull yourself up and come up in your life. It was a very inspiring story for people like us who are listening every week after week in e-Bookery, and we get a lot of knowledge from this platform. Thank you very much. I would like to thank e-Bookery, all the founders who are bringing this much of knowledge to all the people, and we are able to apply it not only for in this in our personal life, even our professional life, everywhere we are able to apply it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shamla. It would be really injustice if you say that one Renee is completely the woman empowerment. Renee is even into the men empowerment as well, because the whatever the points that she outlined over here, it applies even for the men. These are the principles. These are the universal principles that can be applied in any context, irrespective of the gender and religion and color and creed or whatever it is.
Yes, exactly.
Major, were you there, Major? I did not see you for a while.
I was very much there. I was there right from the start of Renee, and I could summarize the Ritika's overview, but I was there right from the start. What a magnificent title, I should say, Renee. From steel toes to stilettos. It rhymes not only in your tongue, but also in your hearts and minds. And your talk, or rather review of this book, of your own book, was truly mesmerizing. It's power packed, all stuff. And I particularly like the way you quoted Mind's book. If at all I read the book in my pillow, I have a pillow here, and I have a book also here. I always carry this book with me. I always carry this, and I do look forward to the pleasure of buying your book, so that I'll be using that along with my pillow. Power pack presentation. You poured your heart out, especially your life, the earth, and how what are the value that she instilled in you. So all went on to prove that very, I should say, it just came from the heart. I don't want to take much time, but I thoroughly, I did not say enjoyed, I rather lived through your book. Thank you, Renee, and may write the second book too soon, and join the e-Bookery also, and then launch it here. So kind of you, and God bless.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. That is amazing. You understand. Yes. Thank you. I'm humbled.
Thank you so much, Major, for that kind words. Yes, it's a time for us to close. Before that, I would like to have Renee once again over here to have her experience. Like, how did you find, how has been your experience on e-Bookery platform?
I just think Anil reached out to me. I'm not quite sure exactly, but it was just obviously a God divine appointment. I was supposed to be here, and I am just so happy to have been able to join you all and to meet you and to listen to your voices and see your smiling faces, and for us to empower each other and literally just lock arms with each other and let's go.
Fantastic. So it's a time for us to say goodbye to Renee and the entire team. Yes, Renee, we truly thoroughly enjoyed. It's not enjoyed. That would be the right. No, that is not the right word, as Major said. We lived through your presentation, and there are many takeaways and which we need to incorporate in our life to excel in the rest of our life. Amazing, amazing. So once again, everyone, thank you so much for making it. Esther, Geeta ma'am, Major as usual, and Roli Jane, thank you so much. And today you brought a lot of value here on to the table, with your experiments on in the water.
Thank you.
So we look forward to having you here on every Saturdays. And Ashwini, thank you so much for making it. And you are the youngest in this clan now. And Shamala, thank you so much for chipping in. And Shamala, I know it very well. You are very busy in our Hindi e-Bookery, and you are one of the pillars over there in a Hindi e-Bookery. So we would like to have you here as well, if the time permits, Shamala.
Sure, I will.
And Sapna ma'am, we did not have a pleasure of seeing you on a camera, but we look forward to seeing it in the future episodes.
Thank you so much. I didn't want to scare anybody with my neck pain and my neck collar. And today, your words were, I was hearing, I am also a writer from poetry. So thank you so much for the book and the descriptions, and the way you presented was amazing, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Your words are powerful to me, and they feel like love. Thank you very much. Thank you for your love.
It was amazing connecting with you, Renee. It was a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Yes, you can follow me I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on all of it. Renee MB or Renee Ra.
While we've been sitting all the while, Renee, you've been standing, and that shows, your commitment to it.
Yes.
So thank you, Renee. A big round of applause.
Thank you, Renee, so much. Thank you so much.
To you. Guys, give a big round of applause to Renee for the wonderful
Take care.
contribution.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So please be in touch with her, and she's available, as she said,
We'll find you on
she's available on all
social
social
media.
medias.
Is there any particular name that you use? Because when you go on a social media, you see lots of same names.
Okay, so when you go on, it's Renee Envy, RA capital N. It's actually a capital N, AE, and Envy. And on Facebook, I changed Envy to just it's RA instead. But it might even come up if you put in Renee Envy.
All right, that's a keyword that you need to type in. Then you will get a Renee.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, guys, so it's a time to say goodbye. So before that, I want to tell you guys that the numbers are gradually coming down. It's not the way how we need to run the sessions. We need to have more people into the our session. So please do your best. It's a shared responsibility of everyone. Please do post it on your